I've never been able to tell this story. It has haunted me for far too long. I know my time is almost done, and I've decided. I can't remain in this state of uncertainty, terror, this awful state of impending horror. But before I go, someone must know. Someone needs to know why. 12 years ago, 7 at the time, I stumbled upon intriguing information on the internet. I read about cryptids, these unseen creatures whose existence hasn't been proven. I was fascinated, but my family thought me childish. They didn't even try to believe in such things as Bigfoot, the Bray Road Beast, or El Chupacabra. That didn't stop me, though. Eyes and mind wide open, I continue to explore the web in search of articles and books, looking for eyewitness testimonies of their experiences with any of these phenomenons. Even more excited, I decided to focus my interest locally. I began asking everyone I knew of their strangest happenings, of the most horrifying, unexplainable experiences. That's when chance hit close to home. My little brother, Noah, after much persuading and ensuring, finally felt comfortable enough to share his deepest secret with me. A secret he had never told anyone, out of fear of humiliation and inevitable disbelief. He told me what he saw. Several months ago, he had seen something. Late one day, mid-fall, Noah was helping my father detail a car before they painted it. My dad, at the time, owned or rented a shop down the road. This humble garage was set up near a broken down, worn out old barbed wire fence. Behind it stood a pine forest too thick and too dark to peer into. Finally finishing the detail, my father forced Noah outside so that the fumes from the paint wouldn't reach him. Noah sat outside in the cold, waiting on my father as the sun set slowly upon them. A few minutes had passed when Noah heard a distinct rustling at the edge of the forest near him. He turned. The sight before him, one that has haunted his dreams night after night ever since. Because there, only meters away, stood an unexplainable animal. Its fur was similar to that of a wolf's, and its head the same shape. Its snout was curled back in hatred, in anger. Glistening yellow teeth and blood-red gums were shown. But it was not a wolf. Its eyes were dark red, shone obviously out of its dark gray fur. Its front legs weren't legs. They ended in hands, not paws. These hands had dirty, corroded claws at the ends of each finger. It had its body leaned forward, its weight on its arms as if it was about to stand. Its back legs thick and muscular, ending in paws like a wolf's. Noah was amazed, but horrified. His face dripped with tears watered down from his eyes. He slowly moved toward the garage door, the beast's eyes never leaving his. Inside the garage, Noah peered through the screen behind the large fan in the back of the shop. Terribly, the beast still remained, its eyes now locked on his. Somehow, it knew where he was. Noah sat quietly in shock in the corner, avoiding the fan and any windows until my father's work was finished. Noah never uttered a word about it until now. Far from afraid and consumed by my new obsession, I spent hundreds of dollars buying motion-sensing cameras, enough to cover a large distance, snapping a picture of anything that moved. I set them up at noon one day, quickly strapping them to trees and sliding in their SD cards. After several dozen cameras, I retired to home and waited. I decided to retrieve the cameras 3 days later. Surely that was enough time to catch a glimpse of anything that I needed to see. When I popped the SD cards into my laptop, one by one, I was greatly disappointed. There were hundreds of pictures of nothing but leaves. Several more were of raccoons, possums, even an armadillo, some deer. But one picture did stand out. A camera that had been ripped from its strap and dragged several feet away caught a picture of two glowing, streaked orbs, like eyes caught in movement, but the rest of it was black. Let down, I lay myself to sleep that night, but I was awakened by an odd tapping noise. Jolted awake, I looked around my bedroom, my closet light partially glowing through a crack between the door and the wall. There was nothing. The sound was gone. So, I lay my head back down in my pillow and closed my eyes. Seconds later, the tapping came again. This time, I heard the direction it resounded from. I glanced quickly over at my window, and immediately my heart panicked, and my entire body was flooded in a sharp, agonizing pain. I was afraid, primally afraid, for there, in the window, was what seemed to be a wolf, but my window stood 6 feet off the ground. This wolf had red eyes that shimmered with a terrifying flicker in the faint moonlight. Its snout was curled back, but it didn't look angry or threatened. It looked as if it was smiling. Then, I saw a furry clawed hand slowly raise and tap its nail on the glass of my window. It stared at me. My heart almost stopped as its mouth moved. It uttered words. It spoke to me. I could barely make out what it said to me, but it sounded like, "I'll forever have your scent." My parents went missing a week ago. My little brother and my little sister were found dead in the woods, mutilated and naked. Their killer was never found. But since that night, I haven't left this house. But every night since then, that thing returns. It taps on my windows, turns the knob of my locked doors, and scrapes at my walls, trying to get in. But I won't let it. It tells me that it's here. I wanted to see it, it says, so it showed itself to me. It says it will never leave. Even now, it bears its nasty yellow fangs, stained with blood that could only be of my blood, just outside of the window next to me. I won't let it have me. I will die before I let it have me.